President Park Geun-hye called for a resolution to the comfort women issue for the future of bilateral ties with Japan at a ceremony marking the March 1st pro-independence movement on Sunday. Samsung has unveiled its new Galaxy S6 ahead of the Mobile World Congress in Spain with wireless charging and a mobile payment system. And photos dating back over 100 years to the final days of the Joseon dynasty have made their public debut. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Monday, March 2nd. I'm Luke Clary. At a ceremony marking the March 1st pro-independence movement on Sunday, President Park Geun-hye urged the resolution of the comfort women issue so that Korea and Japan can write a new chapter in the history of their bilateral ties as partners of the future. Meanwhile, the president embarks on a trip to the Middle East this week.
At the ceremony marking the March 1st pro-independence movement, President Park Geun-hye called on the Japanese government to set its historic views straight, as Korea and Japan will be marking the 50th anniversary of their bilateral diplomatic ties.
용기 있고 진솔하게 역사적 진실을 인정하고 한국과 손잡고 미래 50년의 동반자로서 새로운 역사를 함께 써 나가기를 바랍니다.
The South Korean president criticized the Japanese government for damaging its relations with neighboring nations by trying to distort facts in history textbooks. She urged Tokyo to resolve the issue of comfort women in particular, citing the lack of time. Prior to the ceremony, the president met briefly with the leaders of ruling and opposition parties. 새누리 Party Chairman Kim Moo-sung asked the president to organize a meeting to share the results of her Mideast tour with representatives of both parties once she returns to Korea. The 새누리 Party spokesman said that the president has accepted the request. Park said she had invited the opposition party several times before, but their meetings failed to take place. She promised to meet with the opposition leaders more often in the future. President Park will thus meet with the leaders of both parties after she returns from her overseas trip on March 9th.
Samsung Electronics has unveiled its new smartphone, the Galaxy S6, ahead of the Mobile World Congress opening in Spain. The new gadget's most outstanding features include wireless recharging and a mobile payment system.
This is Galaxy S6 and Galaxy S6 Edge.
Samsung Electronics' new smartphone, the Galaxy S6, was unveiled before an audience of 6,500 journalists and IT professionals. Samsung announced that the latest model is the first among the S-series products to feature a metal edge and a back made of tempered glass, accentuating its chic design. The new phone, like the iPhone, features a fixed internal battery. However, the absence of the ability to switch batteries is covered by the implementation of a wireless recharging method. Samsung explained that the high-speed recharging method enhances efficiency, giving the phone a charge sufficient for 4 hours of use in just 10 minutes. In cooperation with credit card companies, Samsung also introduced a mobile payment system for the Galaxy S6.
The best display, the fastest processor, best cameras under any conditions.
Competition in the smartphone market is expected to grow fiercer as Taiwanese and Chinese phone producers are also scheduled to unveil their new models at the Mobile World Congress in Spain.
Events marking the 96th anniversary of the March 1st pro-independence movement were held nationwide on Sunday to pay homage to independence fighters who gave their lives for Korea's independence from Japanese colonial rule.
The streets are full of national flags, just like 96 years ago. Even young children are carrying the national flag in their small hands. In Korean, people cheer manse or hooray in English, pay respect to the independence fighters who died for their country at a young age.
참여하게 된 게 매우 좋다고 생각을 하고 그 당시의 기분을 느낄 수 있어서 가슴이 많이 벅찬 것 같아요.
The cheers also resonated at the Seodaemun Prison History Hall, a symbol of Japanese oppression during Korea's colonization. The young visitors came here to learn about the sacrifices and sufferings of pro-independence activists.
너무 어둡고 으스스해서 무서웠어요. 조상님들께 감사하면서 살아야겠다는 생각이 들었어요.
At noon, the bell at Poshingak Belfry is rung 33 times. Citizens and the families of independence fighters gathered there to commemorate the meaning of the March 1st movement. It was a day of remembering the nation's patriots who gave their lives to make their home country free, and of celebrating the preciousness of national independence.
The rates for jeonse, or lump sum based apartment leases, have hit a record high against apartment sale prices. Mortgage loans are also surging as tenants are moving to purchase their own houses, pressured by the soaring jeonse prices.
This is an apartment complex in the Gangso district of Seoul. The average price of a jeonse, or lump sum based rental contract, is approximately $219,000 for an apartment measuring 67 square meters. The house can be purchased outright with an additional payment of just $18,000 more. The lump sum rental price has reached 92% of the sale price. Lump sum rental prices have risen rapidly, reaching a record high average of 70.6% of the sale price for apartments nationwide last month.
요즘 전세값이 너무 많이 올라서 이게 뭐 천만 보태서 집을 한번 장만해볼까 싶어서 좀 왔습니다.
Pressured by the soaring lump sum rental prices, tenants set out to purchase their own homes, and sales transactions of apartments in Seoul reached an all-time high in January and February. Mortgage loans provided by the nation's top 7 commercial banks grew 8-fold from last year to over $3 billion.
또 1%대 초저금리 대출이 출시가 되면 아무래도 그 봄 이사철과 맞물리면서 주택담보대출은 좀 더 증가할 것으로 예상이 됩니다.
Experts have expressed concerns that if lump sum rental prices continue to rise, household debts this year will exceed the previous record of $66 billion.
Eczema or dermatitis are hard to cure diseases, but Korean researchers have developed an eczema treatment using insects. The use of insects in various fields like cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, and even food has been on the rise.
Large centipedes are used as a folk medicine for treating arthritis. Researchers from the Rural Development Administration have recently discovered a substance in the insects that is as effective as penicillin, a group of antibiotics. They have acquired a patent for the substance because, unlike existing antibiotics, it doesn't cause antibiotic resistance and can treat eczema or dermatitis. The Rural Development Administration has been using various patented substances extracted from insects in cosmetics. One of them is found in scarabs and is known to suppress harmful bacteria and promote skin cell regeneration. The researchers have succeeded in producing skincare products using the substance.
효능에 대해서 결국 제품 기능에 대해서 만족하시는 고객님들이 계속 재구매를 해주시고 계십니다.
Insects are also increasingly used in food with great success by making it appealing to more and more people. This tasty-looking bread and jelly contain insect powder, but you'd never have guessed that at first glance. Ingredients made with insects offer multiple health benefits, as they're rich in protein and vitamins. Competition in the research and development of insect products is heating up, with the global insect market expected to surpass $34 billion in 5 years.
Photos of Korean intellectuals in the last days of the Joseon dynasty have been made public for the first time, collected by an American who was living in Japan at the time. The photos are regarded as valuable historic records. Let's take a look.
The young man in this photograph is Seo Jae-pil, a Korean independence activist and enlightened intellectual at the age of just 23 years old. Notably, the black and white photo taken in 1887 was later colored. Photos of Kim Ok-gyun and Park Geun-hye taken at a similar period in history all feature their subjects when they were young. They have been unveiled to the public for the first time. This young man dressed in a Western-style suit is Prince Lee Kang, a son of King Kojong and an independence activist. The photographs were collected by American William Griffiths, who was staying in Japan at the time. Each image is accompanied by detailed explanations, including the time when they were taken. A photograph of Heungseon Daewon-gun, father of King Kojong, features the words Daewon-gun 1866 written upon it. It appears that it was taken when he was in his 40s, earlier than in other previously disclosed images. The various photographs taken during a time frame ranging from the late Joseon era to the period of Japanese colonial rule will be made public as soon as the analysis is completed.
Now, it wasn't that long ago that people lined up in front of phone booths to make phone calls. Now, public phone booths are almost completely obsolete as almost everyone has a mobile phone. But some of these relics to the past are being repurposed for the modern era.
A compact car enters an alley. The driver parks the car in front of a public phone booth. He's not there to make a call, but to recharge his electric vehicle.
충전소가 적어서 시내에 나올 때마다 좀 걱정을 많이 했는데요. 이렇게 공중전화 옆에 충전소가 설치되니 이제 안심하고.
In Seoul, 3 recharging stations for electric cars, including this one, have opened up in phone booths. This phone booth near a subway station is a safety zone where people can escape from crime.
오셔가지고 먼저 이거 누르시면 됩니다. 예, 그럼 문이 자동으로 닫히고요. 그 다음에 112에다 신고하시면 됩니다.
With fewer people using public phones, the number of phone booths in 2014 stood at half the roughly 150,000 in the peak year of 1999. It costs over $9 million a year to maintain these booths, but since they cannot be removed altogether, they are given new purposes. Time seems to have left public phone booths behind, but they are making a comeback, taking on new, meaningful roles.
We've often seen members of idol groups go solo and make a splash on the K-pop scene. Here's the latest addition to the ranks of idol gone solo, Teen Top's Neil. This and more news to come in today's Showbiz segment.
Teen Top's Neil took the #1 spot on the KBS show Music Bank over such formidable competitors like Naol. In his first solo album containing a total of 7 tracks, Neil performed songs from various songwriters, including Lucid Fall, as well as his own composition, Affogato. It remains to be seen whether Neil will be able to follow in the footsteps of other idol group members who successfully turned solo, such as SHINee's Jonghyun. Several K-pop groups are making comebacks after prolonged breaks. Girl groups 4Minute and 9 Muses had been away for more than a year before releasing new songs recently. Rainbow also returned to the stage with its first new album in 20 months. Big-ticket idol groups like Big Bang and EXO are expected to return as well in the first half of this year.
You alone could have explained the truth.
Leonard Nimoy, famous for playing Mr. Spock in the iconic TV series Star Trek, died at the age of 83. Nimoy passed away at his Los Angeles home on February 27th after suffering from a lung disease triggered by heavy smoking.
Many people these days try to beat the cold by plunging into the winter sea or eating ice-cold dishes. Fighting the cold with cold is considered by many to be a healthy approach. And today, we introduce bold people taking on the bitter cold headlong.
This aerial scene is of holidaymakers in their droves out on the ice. They're here to try their hand at ice fishing.
네, 아까는 안 추웠는데 이제 점점 추워져요. 발도 시렵고 이제 손도 시렵고.
All kinds of ingenious methods are employed, including fishing with one hand, two hands, and laying down fishing. It may have just worked. A big trout is snagged on the fishing line held by a 7-year-old.
너무 추워요. 너무 기다렸는데 잡아서 정말 너무나도 기뻐요.
The water is icy cold, but the anglers don't mind getting wet to grab a hold of the wriggling trout. The fish is finally caught, and the exhilaration of the moment beats the cold.
돈 뒤져드는 줄 알았는데 형을 먹고 싶어서 잡았습니다.
Also, every winter, there are people who plunge themselves into the freezing sea.
아주 춥지만 아주 또 뜨겁고 아주 기분 좋은 것 같습니다.
But is fighting the cold like this okay for your health?
겨울철 야외 활동은 피부 혈관의 수축과 확장을 반복하여 혈액순환을 촉진시키고 겨울 추위에 대한 저항력을 높이는 데 효과가 있습니다.
The sweet summer treat, shaved ice called bingsu, can also be enjoyed in the winter.
여름에 빙수 먹으면 더위 해소되고 좋은데 또 겨울에 빙수 먹는 것도 나름대로 이렇게 추위를 날려버릴 수 있을 것 같은 그런 느낌이 드는 것 같아요.
The cold noodle dish, naengmyeon, we often eat in the sizzling summer, was actually a winter dish in North Korea enjoyed after the harvest of buckwheat.
동의보감에 냉면의 주 재료인 메밀과 무는 성질이 차지만 위장을 튼튼히 해준다고 기록되어 있습니다.
We tend to curl ourselves up and stay indoors in the winter. But why not be adventurous and try fighting the cold with cold as you wrap up your winter this year?
And now let's take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.